Hello and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I'm Tyre Salam. It's great to have you join us on the show.
Right.
Let's get on with it now. Let's start with the Golden Eaglets. Cecilia,
Absolutely.
come on. Are you not excited?
All right. They were not at the last edition. So this one, we're just like taking it slowly. They finally land at the place where they will be playing all their group games in Junior right there in Brazil. They've been there since on the 10th of this month and really ready to go. Remember, they won this championship, this tournament, 5 times.
They'll be looking to make it a 6th time in Brazil. We wish the Golden Eaglets all the best as they get ready for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Brazil. Also on the show, we're coming back home. We're talking basketball. The NBBF Women's Basketball League. We're down to the semifinals, and today we're going to see the last 4 in action. I'm talking about First Bank taking on Air Warriors, and Dolphins will be taking on MFM Queens in the second semifinals. Celia,
Air Warriors and First Bank, those teams, they know how to beat their opponents as much as 50 points. How do you beat a team 90, 33?
Because they're so good. They're so good.
And the matchup is going to be, well, we'll just wait and see what's going to happen.
It's going to be explosive
today in Lagos. Also on the program, we waited for it and we finally saw it. That's the showdown in Los Angeles. It was the Clippers who clipped the Lakers' wings, and for the Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they just couldn't. Kawhi Leonard was on fire, 30 points on the night. Without Paul George, and yet they beat the Lakers.
That's what
bragging rights.
That's early bragging rights for the Clippers, and like you said, the win is even more impressive because they've done it without Paul George, while the Lakers had their full cast, full roster, and still couldn't beat the LA Clippers on the night. Kawhi Leonard and Patrick Beverley in your picture right there. You know, after a job well done, handshake, well done, buddy. Let's do this again some other time.
We'll say 4 times, right? This is just
4 times,
We're in if it happens in the postseason, we'll see if it's going to happen in that one.
We'll come back to the Clippers and the Lakers later on. I know it's we're all very excited as Cecilia to get going on the NBA. But let's talk basketball on the local scene first of all. The NBBF Women's Basketball League. We're down to the Final 4. The 4 teams that will fight for the championships, like we teased earlier, First Bank, Air Warriors, Dolphins, and MFM Queens. Before then, let's see the quarterfinal results. Let's see how these teams managed to get into the semifinals.
Okay, what you have is actually for the men. That's the NBBF President's Cup. These are the results you have from NBBF President's Cup, and not for the one for the women. For the women, you have First Bank and Air Warriors. You also have Dolphins and MFM. Okay, let's just... okay, it's out already. Right? Now, what we're talking about right now happens to be the Women's Basketball Premier League. That's what we want to see first, results coming from there. Before we want to look at, the NBBF President's Cup. The quarterfinals result, that's what we want to see. MFM Queens and Customs, it was 66 and 53. This was a bit close. Take a look at the second one. That's the one I'm talking about. First Bank 90 and Black Gold. This is wonderful. Yeah, it's really wonderful. 90-32. How do you do this? Air Warriors, just take a look at this one. 103 and 50. Plateau Rocks. I mean, just rocking all the score. Dolphins and Delta Force, another close game. Just one close game. MFM and Customs, a bit close. But First Bank and Air Warriors, I'm happy if the 2 of them are actually meeting in the semi-finals. That's the final before you get to the final.
Yeah, you can say that again. Final before the final. First Bank and Air Warriors absolutely annihilating their opponents in the quarterfinals. So congratulations to them. We'll see how it pans out later on in the semi-finals. First Bank, Air Warriors, Dolphins versus MFM Queens second semifinals. Let's move on quickly now to the President's Cup. Confirmation of the fixtures, and Cecilia, we talked about it already. So let's just move on to the guys now. The President's Cup, this one is taking a while for me to get used to because it's not exactly a league. But I mean, it's good to see the guys playing basketball. The President's Cup, that's what it's called. And Raptors were in action against the Down Warriors. I know it was the Raptors, not Toronto, the Nigerian Raptors, winning 70-56. Defenders are lost against Niger Porters 90-75. Rivers Hoopers, of course, expectedly thrashed Benue Braves.
Not brave enough.
You know,
The
brave,
bravery
yeah,
is so shallow.
probably they were brave on the night, but the
30 points, brave on the night. That's
yeah,
what
but the Hoopers are so
one
good.
player can just score.
The Hoopers are so good.
Victor Anthony from the Hoopers, Hoopers actually got 20 points, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 blocks.
That's
20.
just 10
That's
shots,
10
10
shots
shots
of
of the
what Benny
old.
Braves. This one's going on brave enough, so it tells you
Okay, I
the
think I'll
story.
let you win on that one. Let's move on to Army Rockets. They lost 56 to 69 against Lagos Warriors. Kwara Falcons 80 to 57 over Coal City Miners. Police Baton 59-35 over Ondo Raiders. So that's day 2 results of the NBBF President's Cup. Cecilia, let's not say too much about it again. It's good to see the guys playing, regardless of how,
Powerful.
how not ideal the situation is. We're hoping that by next year everything would have been,
Settle, we have a proper league
like a
running.
proper league.
And if we have a
Yes.
proper league running, we can also have something aside, just having 2 things. We just
Why not? There's
we want
nothing
it to
wrong
be
with that.
busy.
There's nothing wrong with
Should be
having
busy.
like a cup competition,
And
like you
also
do
the
in
league.
football and in the league. Yeah.
The more the
Okay,
merrier.
let's move
Okay,
on.
now let's talk about what happened on
The
the night.
NBA,
We're waiting
Cecilia,
for it,
we
kick-off
waited
time.
and-
And tip off on the night. It was the LA showdown, but it was all about the Clippers.
Yeah, it was all about the Clippers. We're going to get confirmation of the results. Beats now. 2 matches were played on the opening nights of the 2019-2020 NBA season. First off was the Clippers. No, not the Clippers. The Pelicans
and
taking on Toronto Raptors. So the Toronto Raptors opened the title defense against the New Orleans Pelicans, and they won 132-122. Of course, the big match of the night was the battle in LA. Clippers clipping the wings of the Lakers, 112-82. It was a close matchup until the 4th quarter when the Clippers, just, ran away with it and got the very important victory on the night. And Kawhi Leonard, like Cecilia said, was the star man of the show, leading his team there. 30 points for Kawhi. I mean, this guy makes it look so easy.
Easy.
He's playing so well. Then you see the stats at the end of the match. You're like, oh, it's got 30 points already. That's the way he plays. He's such a great player, Kawhi Leonard. But for LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the Lakers, Showtime, all of them, they were all there. They just couldn't stop the Clippers on the day.
Danny Green was even the guy I didn't expect from the Raptors.
From the Lakers.
I mean,
Yeah, came from the Raptors,
the
right?
champions coming into the Lakers.
Yeah.
28 points on the night. I think that's the guy who actually led everything. But I think the problem with the Lakers, well, that's a problem. I said that at the beginning of the season. I mean, when they practically let their young stars go just to acquire Anthony Davis, that it's going to be hard for them to have a bench. And if you see what actually happened in this one, their bench actually gave more. I'm talking about the bench from the other side of Clippers than what the Lakers did.
You can say that again, but I don't think that's the problem because the players you have on the bench for the Lakers, a lot of them are veterans. They've been there, done it, and very decent players. But on the night against the Clippers, bench, that's where the issue is. The Clippers bench is so better than the Lakers bench. Than
16-19. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference. But what I'm saying is even if those young kids that you're talking about were still there, they will still get absolutely destroyed by the Clippers bench because they're so good and far better than what the Lakers have, whether they're youngsters or whether they are the veterans that they have right now.
Okay.
But it is what it is. The Clippers, Lou Williams, that's your guy right there from the bench, always scoring in great numbers.
21 points from the bench.
Yeah, not surprised at all. That's why he's a perennial sixth man of the year, Lou Williams. All right, then, let's just pause a bit now. Let's go to Texas. Ayotunde Onobolu of Bibo, Naija is going to join us to review everything that went down on the opening night of the NBA. Ayotunde, it's great to have you on the show. I know you haven't slept.
Nah, I've not slept yet. When it comes to basketball, we don't sleep.
No sleep, not at all. So let's just dive into it straight away. The Clippers and the Lakers, early bragging rights. The Clippers striking the first blow in the Battle of LA. I wouldn't say it hasn't come as a surprise to me at all. What about you?
Well, I mean, I was surprised. The fact that there was no Paul George because of injury. And the Lakers started really well. They dominated everything. They were hitting shots, made life difficult for Kawhi. and the rest of the guys. But then they picked it up, talking about Kawhi and the guys. And like you rightly said, the bench of the Clippers was on fire today. Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, two guys who were nominated for the Sixth Man of the Year award last season. And they came off the bench and they did what they did all season long last year. And the Lakers had no answer. And I felt for the Lakers, there was a lot of ISO ball on the part of, they kept isolating Anthony Davis on the block, on the low block, to try and get stuff going. And the Clippers kept, swarming him. LeBron had a near triple-double, but with Kawhi defending him, it was always going to be difficult. If you ask LeBron, that one guy he would not like to play against, without question, it has to be the man Kawhi Leonard. And somehow, Kawhi has a way of going about his business, and you just kind of think he's not there. And then you look at the stat sheet and you're like, oh my goodness, this guy's already put up 30 points on the rivals. But let's not read too much meaning into what has happened. It's just one game. There's 81 games left. There's still 3 more meetings between both sides in Los Angeles. So I wouldn't say I read any meaning into what happened in the early hours of this morning. I'll just say, let's calm down and let's see how things go.
Okay, right. How things go. Okay, we'll leave it at that. But before we leave, let's leave the Lakers for now. Let's take a look at Toronto Raptors, what they did on the night also. I mean, I was looking at Paul Siakam, Pascal Siakam, what he was able to do on the night. 34 points, he put on 18 rebounds. And if you check, the last time that was done in opening game of the NBA, that was in 1992, and the guy went on to become the MVP. I'm not trying to read so much meaning into this. Do you see Pascal Siakam actually be the guy for Raptors this season?
No, I mean, when they gave him the maximum contract, that was the intention the Raptors signified. Pascal Siakam is the owner of this team right now. Not Kyle Lowry, not Marc Gasol, not Fred VanVleet, but Pascal Siakam, and he put on a show, even though he fouled out and he actually made the game really close and the game went into overtime. But you got to credit the resilience. It's important when you win a ring, when you win rings in front of your fans on opening night, you have to win that game. It sets a tone for, what could be a great season going forward. But we must give credit to the young Pelicans team too. Remember, they didn't have the #1 overall draft, Zion Williamson, who's out for a few weeks now. But they pushed the Raptors to the very limit. And I keep saying the Pelicans will be the most exciting team to watch this season because you just don't know what to expect from them. They had no Zion, so everybody had to take up a collective responsibility. When Zion comes back now, it will be a different kettle of fish. Those guys are exciting to watch.
Okay. That's the way it's going to be. Just hopefully Raptors will be able to pick more wins and...
Yeah, Raptors, Ayotunde, for the Raptors, I don't think, of course, they lost Danny Green and Kawhi. But if you look at that team, I don't think there's going to be any problems with them making the playoffs. It's what they do in the postseason that is the issue right now. I don't know if you agree with me or not.
I have to agree with you 100%. No disrespect to the Eastern Conference, but they are not as strong as the Western Conference, But when you look at teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, the Milwaukee Bucks, maybe the Indiana Pacers and the Boston Celtics, you look at the last 4 seeds in the East and you kind of feel it's open for anyone who desires to get there so much. And so teams like the Orlando Magic, the Toronto Raptors, this is an opportunity for them to get in. But when playoff basketball comes, quality would definitely be a huge, huge factor at that time. So, I expect the Raptors to still make the playoffs. They're still a decent team. Make no mistake about that. With the way Siakam showed us, Fred VanVleet was massive. Now, he didn't come off the bench like he did last season. He started alongside Kyle Lowry, and he dropped 34, a career high, shooting, with reckless abandon.
Lights out.
Yeah. So we got to give the Raptors a chance. But are they title contenders this year? No, I don't think so.
All right, then, Ayotunde, before we let you go, let's just, when KD in the summer decided to break up that super team, the Golden State Warriors, the league effectively returned to the duo era. I mean, times when we used to have great duos in the NBA. It seems we're back to it right now. So before we let you go, so many of them to talk about this season. Before we let you go, can we get top 5? Starting from 5 to number 1.
Starting from number 5, Houston Rockets duo, James Harden and Russell Westbrook. James Harden, MVP material. Russell Westbrook, Mr. Triple Double. They could have gone higher up the list for me, but the jury is still out on how two ball hogs can work together in the backcourt. So James Harden and Russell Westbrook at number 5 for me. At number 4, an underrated backcourt in Portland Trailblazers. I'm talking about Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. These are guys that can steady drop 25 points every night on any defense they play. Question is, how far would their leadership, carry the rest of the team? Trailblazers made it to the Western Conference Finals against all the odds last season. You got to give those guys credit, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Number 3 would have to be arguably, in fact, not arguably, I think it's a general consensus now, the greatest backcourt in NBA history, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. And the reason they are number 3 for me and they are not higher, because I feel like they're the most established duo in the game right now, is the fact that Klay Thompson is injured. We're expecting him to come back from injury post-All-Star. But then Steve Kerr said yesterday that there's a chance that Klay might not even come back at all during the season. But I just think he's expressing cautious, he's trying to be very calm, But Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the greatest shooter of all time, arguably the second greatest shooter of all time, that is an incredible duo. Number 2 has to be Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They've not played together. Similar type players. They can create shots for themselves. They can walk within the flow of the offense, but their defense is just ridiculous. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people think the Clippers will win their first title in the 50th year of their existence. Right. And number 1, now, come on, man. LeBron James, Anthony Davis. LeBron James is one of the all-time greats, side by side with Michael Jordan as the greatest of all time. Anthony Davis is now going to pretty much lay claim to the crown of the best big man in the game. Had only 2 postseason seasons in his career. Now he's teaming up with LeBron James. You look at that combination and you kind of ask yourself, is there any combination that can beat them? Or already the Clippers have given us a glimpse into what we might expect down the line of the season, right? But man for man, quality for quality, the greatest basketball player with the IQ right now, LeBron James. Anthony Davis with a plethora of skills as a big man, can play inside, can play outside, can defend. They just have to be number 1. It's not a clear gap, just slightly above Kawhi and Paul George.
Ayotunde, that your number 1 and number 2 is so debatable. If it starts, we're not going to lift the show. So we're just going to thank you for your time, and hopefully we'll get to catch you real soon again. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
All right, cheers.
Okay, the debate is going to start.
Cecilia.
On Christmas Day, these guys are meeting again. We're going to see what's going to happen in that one. If Clippers had to clip their wings again, then we'll bring the debate.
Cecilia, my number 1, so we'll leave my number 1 is Paul George and Kawhi. What about you?
They've not played together, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my number 1 should be the ball huggers. I kind of like those 2 guys.
The ball huggers?
Yes.
Westbrook and come on, you're just having a laugh now. Before we go,
I'm serious.
You're having a laugh. You're having a laugh. I don't believe you. Before we go, let's just see our top performers on the night. Cecilia, a couple, actually 3 of them had fantastic nights. You might have heard the names earlier already. Pascal Siakam was on fire. Fred VanVleet was on fire. Kawhi Leonard was on fire as well. So look at Pascal, 18 rebounds. He fouled out. Actually,
yeah.
So he could have had more points if he stayed in the game.
That's the thing.
That's one to watch out for in the league this season.
Take my mind back to the last time it happened, when you have someone like Charles Barkley, when he had 37.21 and 8 assists. In 1992, he went on to be MVP. He was consistent all through. Paul Siakam. Siakam's on that.
Kawhi.
Expectedly.
30 typical numbers, on a nightly basis for Kawhi Leonard. 36 and 5. And last but not least, a surprising one. Fred VanVleet. 34, 5 and 7.
Siakam and him, 68 points.
So he actually started a game for the Toronto Raptors and went on to record a career high. Fred VanVleet was an unsung hero last time out in the Raptors championship winning side. This season is going to have to step up and do a lot more because they've lost Kawhi and Danny Green.
Something remarkable about these guys. The 3 top performers we have this morning actually were players for Raptors. Yeah,
All right.
the other one is no longer with Raptors, but then there's still Raptors synergy right there.
All right then.
Okay, we need to go on a break
Yeah.
now. When we'll come back, of course, we're talking more on sport this morning.